Now, I'm not saying that the One Ring is the glue that holds together many of my unhinged brews, but hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video, and we've got a sweet one today. This one comes from Plum Wizard, who wanted to play a mono black Dark Confidant deck, honestly. And it doesn't literally have Dark Confidant, but that is the spirit of this deck. So we're going to be playing Caustic Bronco, that is a Dark Confidant on attack, unless you saddle it, which is like crew. And then if you do that, your opponent ends up losing life equal to the mana value of the card instead. So in the early game, this is card advantage, and in the late game, this is burn. The upside of this over Dark Confidant is that this does not die to Orcish Bowmasters. The downside is that you don't get your card guaranteed every turn, and you have to attack with this, and that means that when combat is bad, you might just be throwing this and some life away for a card. And sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So we're going to play that, and we're going to play Bat Bob, who has honestly looked pretty good in a couple of different videos that we're playing. And the goal is to be a life goes out, life goes in repeatedly deck, where we use life linkers to offset the life loss that we are getting from our card draws. And when we reach the end game, we can have Sheoldred plus the One Ring to gain an absurd amount of life and really just kick things into overdrive. In terms of mana, we have a decent amount of mana acceleration. Of note here, Fel the Profane is a double-edged sword in this deck, where it is a card that can imprint under Chrome Mox, which is great, but when I reveal it to Caustic Bronco, or I have to lose 3 life for the land mode, it is going to be noticeable, and it is possible that these are just better as more swamps. I'm going to try them out and see how they feel, though. We are probably at the, like, hey, let's main deck Graveyard Hate portion of the metagame. So we have 6 main deck Graveyard Hate cards, plus another 4 in the sideboard. I think this is another time where I'm going to hope to dodge Oops in this league and just play Fairy Macabre, because I think it is going to be better versus a lot of the field than Leyline. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I'm going to try something else here. I'm going to try out a couple of Strategic Betrayals. This is a sorcery speed removal where you don't get to pick the creature that you're removing, but it also takes the graveyard with it, which is intriguing to me. This was a card that I was excited about since I saw it, honestly, before you all did. This was a card that I got to see as an ambassador. And this is powerful in terms of the impact it has for the mana cost, but sometimes it's not going to be good. So for example, if your opponent has an Orcish Bowmasters token, this takes that instead of the Murktide Regent or whatever. But on the times where your opponent has a single creature, like say 1 Murktide or 1 Uro or 1 Barrowgoyf, taking that out and nuking their graveyard at the same time is pretty powerful. And this is a sorcery, which is a card type I'm not really playing much of in this deck, so that does help kind of offset potentially nuking my opponent's graveyard for the Goyf. I'm also going to play 2 more Sheoldreds in the sideboard. In the games that we expect to go long, this card is very powerful after my opponent has used their early game removal spells on stuff that looks like this. Yeah, so let's see how this goes. One quick note here. The original deck list that I was sent had copies of Murderous Rider in it as well. I wanted a little more mana efficiency for the deck, and I wanted to go down some black pip cards because we are playing some soul lands. So I took those out. It is another, potential thing that can lifelink, and it is a knight for Exsanguinator Cavalry. So like there are some reasons to be playing that, but I opted to spend my flex slots elsewhere. So with that, folks, if you need any Magic cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, toamagic.com. They're awesome. Promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order. You always get free shipping. And guess what? If they don't have something you want, afterwards, they have a little pop-up box that says, is there anything else you wanted? We might have offline copies of cards that we could get you and add to your order. And that is great customer service right there. I love these folks. Give them some money and support me while you're doing that. So with that being said, let's battle. Bill from the future here. This is a really solid league. Matches are tense in this one. I'm going to recommend round 3, though, if you're on a limited amount of time. It's versus a control deck, and it really exemplifies how crazy it is to be playing with this many sources of card advantage in a fair deck. Enjoy the show. I'm going to be keeping this hand. It's a little weird in that I can play the turn 1 Goyf, but it's not good until things go to graveyard. So I am probably playing turn 1 Orcish Bowmasters. So Urborg, Chromox, Imprint, Edict, pass. And I might just throw down the Bowmasters before my opponent can possibly brainstorm. Because I think if I go Chromox, Edict, pass, it's just hyper telegraphed. Yeah. It looks like my stuff is resolving. I think you could also potentially make an argument that I should imprint the Goyf under here because I'm not sending any cards to graveyard in the short term. Urza's Saga. If my opponent is playing a one-ring deck, Bowmaster's in play immediately is great. I think I am getting my own one ring going here rather than playing Dauthi Voidwalker. Yeah. Raw. Okay. So I have 4 mana next turn. I don't necessarily have 4 mana for double Dauthi Voidwalker, although City of Traders can tap for black off of Urborg. Long pause from the opponent here. Alright, opponent is moving. It looks like we are playing against a red stompy deck of some kind, and a Blood Moon. So this Urza Saga is now persistent. That will just stick around. As soon as cards start going to graveyard, these get gross. We're not there immediately. Hitting the basic is cool there. Sanguinator Cavalry. Menace Lifelink. I want cards to go to the graveyard for Goyf right now. And then for a couple points of damage. Neither of us is very good at putting cards in graveyard. Especially under a Blood Moon, honestly. That's an Urza Saga that's currently a mountain. Fury is very, very good. But I have the One Ring. And these are going to start getting turned on. Now it's only creature in graveyard for right now. Ooh. Well, hopefully I just find a Bowmaster. And I check this very, very easily. Lose 2. Ooh. That's a nice surprise. Let's draw my cards first. I'm going to Chromox. I'm just going to imprint a black card. I have 5 mana here. I kind of want to do this once there is already a creature in play. I think I am into unblockable creature plus getting one of these into play. Bashing for 1. I didn't find the Bowmasters that I was hoping for. Hopefully that's fine. We've got Boots, Chromox. I'm printing a Magus that's not doing a ton right now. And that's that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My opponent has a 5/5 Urza Saga token. Potentially. I'm just going to draw here. This is a lot of stuff. So 2 of these lands are dedicated towards Bowmaster. Play a mountain. Oh, fuck. I had 2 of those. Oops. No, it puts a land in graveyard. That's not nothing. Am I fine trading for that token? Yes. I could also just hit in for 3. Or I could Emperor of Bones, gain a little life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does Death Touch anyway, so I don't have to think about Fury killing that. This plus Dark Ritual is Bowmasters already. I might hold this back so this can't clock me. Weird game. That 1 mana absolutely matters. So opponent's at 11. I think I'm going to go 2x Caustic Bronco. Or I could do a Goyf. Yeah, let's do a Goyf. And then leave up Bowmasters. Call it a turn there. This puts an instant in the yard. These are now a little bigger. Opponent's at 9. And then I will Bowmaster and send at face. 3 more triggers, which will go at face. And that's good enough. That was a tighter game than it looked like. Broadside plus this gets scary quickly, and my opponent only has to deal 10 to me to kill me there. Notably, though, My opponent made one Urza Saga token all game, despite taking a turn off to do Blood Moon nonsense. So I have a decent amount of removal that I can bring in, and I am going to want at least some of it. I think I want these for the One Ring. Shoot the Sheriff was one of the removal spells that I chose in my flex slots. Broadside's a pirate, so that's relevant here. I guess what don't I want? Dauthi Voidwalker is an evasive body, which is cool, but it's something that gets swept up in Fury, which is not cool. Caustic Bronco is a little slow to get going. Like, in that final turn cycle, like, attacking in with those saddled would have been very possible. I think I'm going to get rid of these for 4 removal spells. Ooh, this is 62, because I brought in the Shuldreds as well. Emperor of Bones is very nice for Fury specifically. Just trim the curve a little bit since I boarded in 2 Shuldreds. This is probably fine. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to play this hand, though. It is absolutely better in blue decks that are better at growing it on its own. And that's like very, very apparent in these Ancient Tomb mirrors, where nobody is fetching or pondering, brainstorming, and whatnot. Opponent apparently had a really tough mulligan decision. They tanked for a long time before keeping a 6-card hand. That is a Chalice on 0. And they might be going for a Blood Moon thing next turn. Nice. Honestly. We're not going to show them the swamp immediately. Saga ticks up. I'm slightly surprised that Chalice is still in the post-sideboard games here. Unless, like, their plan to win is just, like, Blood Moon cheese. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to make them sacrifice that fucking Urza Saga. Like, this is stabilizing their mana, so I'm going to destabilize their mana. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Anyway, basic lands are good. There's my soapbox moment for the day. Now this is sending an enchantment to the graveyard and a land. So we are very quickly going to be at the point where this is no longer killed by Fury. The opponent, to stabilize their mana, now needs to Chrome Mox, and this is how they can sneak it in under Chalice. That requires them going down yet another card, so they lose a Broadside, which is a premium card, and play a Fable. I think this is just one Goyf. I could Bowmaster and Emperor, though. And then that makes Fable worse. I think I like the 1 or 5 Goyf well enough to just do it. This is already bricking this attack. I feel like opponent needs the One Ring. They junk a Chalice of the Void. That grows my Goyf to a 5/6. Oh, we need the mana. Am I fine blocking and eating 2 cards for Fury? Yes. 25. Could be a Barrowgoyf, which would be a little annoying. But my hand is stacked. 14. It is a Barrowgoyf. This is fine. I'll need to answer one of my opponent's 2 creatures in the next couple of turn cycles. I think I'm just going to play this out. I kind of need 1 more mana to bust things open here. And now I just need to interact with this in some capacity. That's not what I want. I'm going to send in for 5 and see what happens with this. Opponent's at 9. A Bowmasters. Yeah, I'll take it. I potentially lose 2 creatures from Reflection, copy Barrowgoyf. So I guess we're going to kind of go the direct damage route and go Bowmasters, send at face, Bowmasters, send at face, and then maybe like Shuldred ends up doing some work in dealing the last couple of points of damage. Or like a Fury or a Barrowgoyf ends up in the graveyard, and then I bring it back with Emperor of Bones. Palace of the Void on 1 is fine. So there is looming Barrowgoyf. What am I doing about that? Emperor of Bones on the Goyf in my graveyard? Seems reasonable. Black and 1. Go to combat. Oh, fuck, I physically clicked on the wrong thing. Oh, that's so bad. If I send in with this, my opponent can copy... Oh, the mistake was so awful. Copy Goyf and block and kill this. Oh, I'm so frustrated by this mistake. I think I do this, though, and try to force action right now. Because if my opponent makes one of these at end step and then gets triple triggers on their next turn, I'm in very bad shape. That was the whole reason to do this, was to attack in with multiple creatures to force this action right now. I think that misclick might force me into a game 3. Oh, cool. Okay, there and there. So now I'm going to gain 5 life. But I lose out on my best creature. I'll play something out. But my opponent is in very, very good shape. I am glad that they flinched there, though. Looks like my opponent is just passing the turn. Don't mind if I do. Nothing in exile with void counters. Send in. Ooh, opponent takes it. I'm going to take 2 here to play the One Ring. Now my opponent can't send these triggers at face, which is good. And I'll pass here. But opponent can obliterate my board. All I need to do is draw a removal spell to break this shit up, though. And kind of my hope is that my opponent plays a One Ring, and then this Shouldered that I've been sandbagging finishes off the game after I kill either Reflection of Kiki-Jiki or Barrowgoyf. Both accomplish the same thing. In good news, I have One Ring protection until the end of turn, so it's not like opponent can just Barrowgoyf dome me for a billion D. Yeah, I have protection. Opponent sacrifices this, and I will attempt some One Ring crimes. All I want to do is find a removal spell, and again, either one of these creatures does it. We're not going to play Shouldered first. Yeah. New Fog? Yeah, New Fog is fine. So get protection from everything again. Draw a new card. Very much not hitting on removal here. This doesn't hurt me now. I don't think I care that I am vomiting cards. There's an Exsanguinator Cavalry. You can kill that. And then opponent can do this thing again. So I'll lose Bowmasters and Cavalry. I'm 24 cards into my deck without finding a single removal spell, right? Yeah. Okay, just checking. The opponent's got mana, and that Ancient Tomb doesn't have to hurt them because of my Urborg. Alright, so here's this thing that I have been trying to set up all game. And let's see if I can make it happen. I can attempt it 2 turns in a row. There is also a timeline where my opponent has a Spirit Guide right now, just by the way. Something to be thinking about. Dauthi. So I think what I'm going to do is create a couple of different problems. I think I'm going to Shouldered and attempt to draw. If opponent has Spirit Guide, this is their moment. They did not. Let's just always yield to that. This Dark Ritual is dead. So I want to Dauthi Voidwalker with haste, but I can't break up the mana across phases appropriately. This Chalice is actively doing something. And maybe I should have just gone for Emperor and Dauthi with haste and ignored Spirit Guide. I was trying to bait Spirit Guide. Maybe that was me getting cute. That same line is available next turn, though. I'm just going to play this out and pass. Where did that... Oh, my opponent did have Spirit Guide. They just let me gain the life with Shouldered. Okay. Sure. I'm 27 cards deep, and I have not seen a single removal spell. Chalice on 2. Okay. That's frustrating, obviously. This is a lot of damage. I take 15 from this, plus a couple more points from my ring. My 1s and 2s are off. I guess means that I'm looking for another One Ring, which I can still do after Shouldered. So there's Shouldered. There's the card draw. Yeah, now I hit it. I missed One Ring. Opponent takes 2, but can Shouldered and then send at face, and I think I die. I needed to hit the One Ring. That was incredibly frustrating. I've got a pretty big advantage going into the next game, though. Yeah, so I had 8 removal spells that I was looking for there, and did not hit any in the top 30 cards of my library. A good strategic betrayal, and just attempt to not lose the game in 4 minutes over like 2 Darkstar Augurs. Seems fine. I am fine keeping this hand. I think I'm going to go Cavalry into Shouldered. There is something to playing Cavalry into Cavalry and just scaling those as quickly as possible, but Shouldered is very noticeably better versus the One Ring. I don't know, maybe double Cavalry just closes this game so quickly that it doesn't matter. Like everything is just immediately outside of Fury range. Yeah, I'm into that. Turn 1 cavalry. Chrome Mox. That was a Simian Spirit Guide to exile, not for Chrome Mox. Okay, opponent undid that. And a Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Sure. Chrome Mox is not what I am looking for. However, yeah. This is Menace. These both trigger giving me blood tokens. I will drop a swap. Is this sorcery only or anything? No, but I pretty much never want Chrome Mox. Alright, well, that's Chrome Mox with extra steps. I don't know, I guess activating the blood token is wrong because of Barrowgoyf, right? This is an extra card type in graveyard. I'll still block. Gain 2. That's the One Ring. My opponent gets their Fog. Shouldered would be great here, obviously. That's a removal spell. I'm going to go ahead and loot through City here. I have to deal combat damage to get these triggers, so I'm chilling. Opponent goes to 17, draws their cards, loses a land. That's Broadside, which again is a pirate. And that's so incredibly relevant right now. My opponent didn't attack with Broadside, though. Okay, so they're just going to kill one, mark damage on this one. They're not evoking this, or like they don't get to throw it with Broadside. So then when my opponent goes to combat, I will shoot this. Broadside could attack me and throw the ring at Exsanguinator Cavalry. But then my opponent doesn't have the One Ring anymore. Yep, they're going to do it. I'll take 2. Dark Ritual doesn't do anything here. But I get to nuke a creature and shrink potential Barrowgoyfs. I think my opponent is currently favored. There's a Broadside, that's great. But as soon as I draw something dumb like the One Ring and slow down this game, they're in trouble. Land drop. Well, that's kind of insane. So I'm at 11. I take 2, I'm at 9. I need a live draw or I just die. Thanks, deck. Very cool. Dead. No exaggeration. Shoot the Sheriff not being something that kills Broadside in that exact spot costs me that entire match. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay, we don't have enough mana to get started here. I need to mulligan this one. This is fine. I'm going to keep this and put one ring back in the deck for later. I don't get to do anything cool on turn 1, but hopefully from there things look pretty good. I'd like my opponent to like cantrip and fetch so that this is an actual threat immediately. It's Merfolk, the year of our Keranos 2025. That means my opponent's not great at putting things in graveyard again, sort of unfortunately. The One Ring hopefully eats my opponent alive, but my opponent will have counter spells. Third basic island. There's a Vial. Would I be willing to trade here? This might be a 3-2. I think I'm willing to trade to put creatures in graveyard, honestly. Dark Ritual. I am fine with casting that card. Okay, it looks like my stuff is just resolving based on how quickly that went. So given that, I'm just going to stick the One Ring here, which was not my plan when I started this turn. Childred's Edict. Sure. That'll be a fine card in a minute. I'm not going to eat anything out of graveyard yet. I guess I can eat a creature. There's still a creature there. This could potentially be a card draw. Ooh, no flash creature. Cool. I also have a Childred's Edict for a potential Tree Name Nemesis, so that's nice. Yeah, my plan for that turn was just to play 2 of these, and then my opponent kind of F6'd and let me know that the coast was clear. And the Wasteland 1-for-1 trade doesn't feel the best when I just have the One Ring looming. As long as I draw 1 mana source of any kind between draw step and One Ring, I am totally fine. Yeah, that counts too. Yeah. One Ring activation is now sitting on the stack. When this enters, counter up to 1 target activator triggered ability. If the ability of an artifact creature or planeswalker is countered this way, loses this ability for as long as this creature remains on the battlefield. So I'll just kill that with Childred's Edict, and that's fine. So it becomes more interesting whether or not I try to play around like daze type effects. I think the answer is no here. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Okay, that worked out about as best as it possibly could. Send in for 2. Now I know to be thinking about the Tidebinder for the future. What is this? Oh, it's just alternate art. Okay, got it. And Merfolk get Ward. This is 3 off Vial, which means I'm fine drawing now. Sheoldred. I think I'm going to go Dark Ritual and play 2 different spells this turn. Yeah. And yeah, I'll eat the Wasteland out of my opponent's graveyard. There's still a land over here in graveyard anyway. And I won't be attacking. This is a big body that is maybe indestructible. There's the Vial activation. A Phantasmal Image. Sure. Vial stays at 2. Like opponent's just going to draw some cards. Cavern for Merfolk. Playing a Merfolk. So this is currently indestructible. My opponent gets to draw a card there. I think I am okay with the trade. I think I have Sheoldred plus the 1 ring coming in a very, very disgusting way. Plus there's now something in exile I could do with Dauthi Voidwalker. I'm drawn. Bowmasters is cute here. The Merfolk have Ward 1. I think I'm just going to tap out for Sheoldred. Unfortunate. Is this the stun one? Yes. Okay. Kind of want to do that. Not the beatdown right now. I'm trying to be the control. I guess the ward is a problem, though. Okay, that answers that. Now I'm going to put a good creature under here. I'm going to put a Sheoldred under here. Swing in with Dauthi. I think there's a good chance that I'm just dead. I have 3 incoming damage here. My opponent gets to draw a card. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lord, 11, 12, 13. I die to a Lord if I don't block. Otherwise, this allows me to get a Sheoldred and gain a gajillion D life. Let's ignore... If I block here and my opponent has the Lord, how bad is that? Pretty bad. I guess it's better than just outright dying to it. Okay, cool. True name Nemesis. Ooh, buddy. So, lose 3. I have Force of Will available, right? I do have Force of Will available. So, let's activate here. Get a Sheoldred. Gain 8 life. Yeah. That's cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7 mana. I just rattle off a few Goyfs without thinking too much about it. Let's put one of these under there. So Dark Ritual, Goyf number 1, Goyf number 2. Don't need to exile anything from graveyard. This seems fine, this seems fine. Do I want Force of Will available, or am I just trying to end this game? Might just be trying to end this game. My opponent takes 7, goes to 10, and then I lose the Sheoldred. I am okay versus this stuff. The True Name gets to hit me, and I do have some life loss incoming. My opponent gets to draw a card. I think I just block for some life here. Maybe even double block, gain 6. Just assume that as long as I stay alive, things are good. Because I lose 1 either way. But like my life total went up with that attack. Alright, lose 4. Force of Will is available for a Tidebinder, I guess, but my opponent has that. What else is in here? Phantasmal Image. I also can get a Hasty Goyf. Alright, I guess first things first. Like, do you have it? Nope. I'm always playing that. There's 4 total mana, leaving me with 3. Yeah, and yeah. Go to combat. This is the trigger from the original. I want to do nothing. And this is the trigger from the new one, which I want to target Goyf. Then I activate this. So this is uncounterable. So that is occurring. I would like to force my opponent to block, which attacking with everything hopefully does. But this is tight. My opponent is going to take 6. I gain 4 up to 14. Yes, I will take an Augur. That's fine. And I think Orcish Bowmasters is probably the best use of my mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I will pass the turn and discard. Sure. What are we working with here? Master of the Pearl Trident. That's fine. Discard a Bronco. So my goal is to get my opponent with this attack trigger, I think. Ooh, so that one didn't come in. This 3 then? Okay. This is worth the life. Go to face. Trigger. Go to face. So in blocks, this 3. We'll go bam and bam, and then just chump here. And then I am still alive after the 1 ring trigger. This is lethal, this is lethal, this is lethal. A Bowmaster at my opponent's face would also be lethal. Ooh, that was close. This is a perfectly reasonable Magic the Gathering card, right? Right? Chat? Hello? Okay, I want more removal. These 6 cards are coming in. I could end up playing Sholdred. I don't think Emperor is fantastic. It does some weird things with life gain and like random evasive damage. I think Caustic Bronco is the first thing to go. I think I value my life total highly. The Darkstar Augur and, Caustic Bronco type cards are just getting overshadowed so hard by the 1 ring. Bowmasters is in a weird spot where sometimes it's a removal spell and sometimes it's not. I think I'm keeping them. I think I'm doing this. This is just evasion plus removal. This is slow. I think this is too slow. Like, this looks reasonable, but I don't think this wins. This is going to need another black source. If I get it, I think I have a good chance at winning. This is my turn 2 land, so I think I have to get rid of City of Traders, unfortunately. Unless I want to get rid of Dauthi Voidwalker. Wild. Alright, that's just a tapped land from my opponent. Never didn't have it. Excellent. We also dodged, like, Vile and such coming out. Master! Master! I think I just find killing that. Just right now. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Great. Tide Shaper. Selecting Urborg. So this is an island. This wins. That means my black stuff is not online here. I think I'm going to play the Cavalry. The blood token looting is okay right now when I don't have black. Man, a removal spell is so hot right now. So hot. Emperor of Bones. I don't have black for that. Send this in. Gain my 2, make my token. And I think... Oh, right. I think even though this isn't particularly big right now, I just play it. And if this is just a removal spell for Master or Tide Shaper, I am fine with that. Tide Shaper. You've got it. So this has Island Walk. This can send in. And I am forced to take that. I mean, yeah. I think I send in with both creatures first. Opponent takes 4. I get my triggers. I'll mill my card. It's a swamp. Damn, I would have wanted that card. 1 ring. No Daze or Force. That's great for me. Draw my card, see if it's a land. It is a land. And I'm just going to play that as a land because I can't cast it as a spell right now. And I don't think I need to blood token loot immediately or anything. And the fog that I get this turn is such a big deal. Ooh, that is a lot of damage. So I lose 1. I would love to find a swamp before I activate this. I'm going to blood token once. Discard a Dauthi Voidwalker. It's a little hard to play the black cards right now. Yeah, that's fine. Cast that. Imprint you. Is this the point where I attack? This might be the point where I attack. Maybe just with you. Hold this back to soak up some damage. I have 2 Death Touchers back. I think I'm okay with that. Or no, fucking Island Walk. I'm a liar. Opponent takes all of it. Triggers. Mill 1. Goldred. Black. And... Did that wrong? Black. Oh, you're an island right now. You. There we go. Draw. Gain some life. I don't have mana for this. I have another 1 ring for the not too distant future. I'm going to go ahead and loot through Emperor of Bones. Just get another guaranteed life gain right now. Bowmaster is pretty bad. Let's loot through Bowmaster. Get the guaranteed life gain. Bowmaster is better than that, but you know. So my opponent loses 2 here and has 2 more queued up next turn from the Sheoldred. Everybody is coming to party. And Island Walk, so I can't block. I'm at 10. Opponent passes the turn. They don't have mana for the Tidebinder thingy, which bodes well for me. I just get to gain a gajillion life. Triggers. I have lethal showing on board here. I will probably just go ahead and go to combat and see what happens. I can decide whether or not I want to play Exsanguinator Cavalry. So 1, 2, I guess 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the 1 ring plus 3. Yeah, I can play another one of these. Let's go. You're an island. You're a black source. Play another one. Combat. This is going to tap something and put stun counters on it. Sure. That means this hit for 5 is happening. So my opponent is going to go to 1. And if that happens, I just Orcish Bowmasters and they die. Triggers. All right. So either one of these cards is effectively lethal, but this one does not get hit by Force of Negation. 4, 7, 11, 14, plus 4, 18, plus 3, 21. Let's do this one. I can still loot into another play if this gets countered. And that is a win versus Merfolk. Feels good. All right, I'm definitely keeping my opening hand. I have to decide how I am playing it. I kind of want to Offspring this. It makes me worse versus a counterspell if that happens, though. The upside is absurd, though. Absolutely fucking absurd. I'm going to start by casting the Dark Ritual and making sure that resolves first. And I don't need to take Ancient Tomb life loss damage this turn now that that has resolved. I don't need to worry about days here. Offspring. Nice. Somewhere in the distance. Show me how to lie, you're getting. Joke is funny to, I don't know, 20% of my audience. Bloodstained Mire. A Badlands. And a Lightning Bolt. I mean, that's why we Offspringed it. Wowzers. We're eating good over here. This is already a 3/4. It's outside of range of Lightning Bolt. It's not dazable. I am into this. That's a Force of Will. Pitching a Kaito. I am happy with that exchange, and I still just have this shit coming. Looks like we're playing against Grixis control. Oh, my Augur. It's gone. Is there a Fatal Push for this too? Nope. And these one for and these trades are going well for me. Punchies for 1. 14. 1, 2, 3. Ignore days. Nice. So now opponent takes 2 on that draw. It's a land drop. Patches is a second main phase hipster. Red, black. Culligan's Command. Sure. Obviously good. I've got a Sheoldred. Oh, this deck fucks. This deck absolutely fucks. Opponent takes 4. Cast with Offspring, 1, 2, and I think we are ignoring days. The life loss is relevant. Yeah. What is my opponent supposed to do? Like, they have interacted with me so much, but I just draw so many goddamn cards. Insane. That felt good. I want 2 more Sheoldreds in the deck, I think. I think I'm going to cut 2 Dauthis. I'm going to keep a couple of Sheoldred's Edicts in respect of Murktide Regents, Planeswalkers, like we saw Kaito. But I think my normal plan is just bury my opponent in cards. This is fine. It is nowhere near as crazy as my previous hand. But I have rock solid mana and 3 threats. Ponder is okay. What did that do? Very fast shuffle. Wall. 1 ring Sheoldred incoming. I would not mind a piece of mana acceleration. Like curving this into this would be very strong. Some sort of Dark Ritual or Ancient Tomb or whatever. Hey! Ask and you shall receive. Look at my Snake Horse. My Snake Horse is amazing. Snake Horse mount at that. This art's really cool. I think this is the first time I've actually zoomed in on this one. Let's see if we eat a Culligan's Command. No, it is just a Lightning Bolt, which is fine. Dauthi Voidwalker. I think I want to expose Sheoldred to a counterspell before the One Ring. So let's do this. In play, I don't know that means much, though. Sheoldred's Edict. You dare! You dare Sheoldred's Edict my Sheoldred. You monster. Augur. Augur is sweet. I really want to play this with Offspring. I think it's incorrect. I think I just play 2 creatures this turn, and I work on whittling down my opponent's resources before attempting to resolve the One Ring. K command? K command. I'm going to discard the Edict. Opponent still has plenty of resources. 3 cards in hand after dropping that. Oh no, friend. That was a fatal push without doing the fetch. So this Darkstar Augur gets to live and do crimes. Ooh, wow. I guess I'll start by seeing if the Augur gets in there in combat. It does. I think it is time. Yeah, opponent gave us the upside down smiley face when they messed up. All right, let's do this. 2 cards remaining. Could be Hardcast Force of Negation, could be Force of Will blue card. I am doing it this way so that I can potentially Bowmaster a Brainstorm that is played to fish something out here. Hello. Hello, Bowmaster. The One Ring resolves. This is just filthy. Bowmaster, your Bowmaster. I'm going to draw the card here. If you have another Bowmaster, you have another Bowmaster. But I want to potentially play another land or whatever. All right. The opponent is now facing down Darkstar Augur and the One Ring and Bowmasters. They kept a card on top. I mean, that's a good one. That's a real good one. I'll lose some. Sheoldred is great. I'll always play Urborg. I think I'm going to take the 2. Then draw my cards. Gain some life. Not paid off for taking the 2 this time. Send in for 2 in the air. Seems fine. Opponent's at 13. I don't actually have that many removal spells. So I will probably address this in combat with my own Death Touch creature. With my own Death Touch creature? Yeah, that's fine. I will just assume that the game continuing in this fashion is favorable to me. Lose 2. Darkstar Augur is a Dark Ritual. That's fine. 1. I don't think I need to save life this time. Do this. That's enough. Now, admittedly, my opponent messed up a fatal push, and this game could have been a little bit harder, but I think we would come out ahead either way. GG's, what a showing for the build of this deck, though. Well, people are fucking out there with their Leyline of the Void today. That's for damn sure. This is game 1. I think I'm just gonna let it ride with Caustic Bronco here. Dark Ritual, Bronco. And we'll just try to bury our opponent in cards. Opponent is down 1 card already. It's not like this does 0 against me. I still do have my Goyfs. Our opponent is probably... I'm just gonna stop talking. Are we just like the Urza Saga, or sorry, like the Planar Nexus combo deck that is just main decking Leyline of the Voids, because fuck them. It kind of looks like that's what's happening. In which case, Bowmaster for the One Ring is kind of big game. I think I just play 2 of those next turn, though. And continue beatdown potential. I have Fel the Profane for Karn. I have double Bowmaster for One Ring. Yeah, just game 1 Leyline of the Voids in a deck that otherwise probably isn't using them. Eldrazi Confluence. So that was kill a dude, make a creature. Okay, got it. So play Bowmaster. Bowmaster, ping this. Opponent should sacrifice this here. They do. And then Orc at your face. So we're pretty insulated versus the One Ring nonsense. I'm somewhat insulated versus a Karn. Suspicious. Well, I mean, I'm getting in. I suspect that I am maybe about to see a large Kozilek's command. Didn't happen. Yeah. Creature's tiny. Alright, we are still seeing it. An opponent is making this spawns rather than getting rid of one of my creatures. Now I have to decide whether or not I want to keep killing spawns or whether or not I just want to go at face. My opponent has so much mana already that mana is probably not the bottleneck, cards are. So I think I am going to go face. 2 cards stayed on top. Yeah, mana not looking like the bottleneck. There is a Karn. You've got it. Oh shit, it's Helm. If I killed 2 of these, that's no difference. I'm just dead to it. Unfortunate. Dead. In case you're not familiar with this combo, by the way, this process repeats until X cards have been put into the graveyard, and since no cards are put into my graveyard, that kills me. So I take it back. My opponent did have probably only 1 card in their sideboard that interacts with this. But it's a damn good interaction. More answers to Karn on my end probably makes sense. Null Rods are weird. I'm going to think about that for a second. I would definitely want Sheoldreds. Am I playing Null Rod and the One Ring at the same time? Probably. Go like 1, 2, 1. Do this. I could also go down these if my opponent has main deck Leylines that they might keep in. They did see this. Yeah. Do I just want to hedge away from these? Emperor of Bones pressures a Karn, technically. Alright. Then maybe Caustic Bronco is better than the last one. Combo. Turn 1 Null Rod, turn 2 Darkstar Augur. It's kind of a called shot. I'm gonna try to believe in the deck here. Yeah. And yeah. It's a little unclear how good this is going to be. The more Grim Monolith style stuff is in my opponent's opening hand, the stronger this is going to be. I think I just kind of count on Darkstar Augur to give me land drops that get me to the other fair creatures in my hand. Second land drop. We are on mine as well. Trinisphere, sure. That doesn't do too much against me. Combat, send in for 2. Opponent's at 18. I think I just dropped this. It is only 1 power right now, but it will self-scale. Urza's Saga. That's Eldrazi Confluence. Seems good. So, Augur with Offspring? Augur with Offspring. Seems fine. These Eldrazi Confluences are doing work versus my deck. Opponent is passing the turn, presumably to do Urza Saga stuff. Bowmasters is kind of whatever. Chrome Mox is actively bad for multiple different reasons. Let's go to Punchies. I might hold one of these back. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold one back. Opponent's at 16. Yeah. So there's a duder. My opponent will lose some life and then get to make another token. These are going to be 5/5s after the search. Just for a manifold key, not doing a lot. And I think I am into a chump here, preserve the life total a bit. Opponent started tapping for something, and then I think realized Trinisphere is a thing that exists. Okay. And now this is where my One Rings aren't looking the best. Or sorry, my Null Rods aren't looking the best. Trinisphere, right. I don't get to multi-spell, which is awkward. And I just ping that token. Opponent can sacrifice it so I don't get the Orc. I'll go to Punchies. I'll take my attack in the air, happily still. Opponent's at 12. And then Sheoldred takes them to 10. These are 6/6s. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is very close to just lethal. I'm just gonna chump. Take 6, do the Augur thing. Hit another Augur, gain 2 life, go to 5, play a Swamp. It's going to make sure that this resolves first. It should. Trinisphere. So there's Fog. Combat. 6. That puts my opponent to 4. The Sheoldred trigger puts them to 2. The next Sheoldred trigger kills them. Hopefully that does it. It is my opponent's own One Ring, so I don't get to kill them with combat damage immediately. So lose 0 life, then Darkstar Augur, lose 0 life. Nice. Sheoldred's Edict, and my opponent is dead to the Sheoldred trigger. Healthy One Ring mirror match. Dot game. So the Death Touchers matter versus Urza Saga tokens. And the Goyfs are something that get outside of range of the Eldrazi Confluence's -3 ability. They don't do so immediately, though. Null-Rod One Ring combo was weird, but it worked. I'm gonna go back on this. That all seems fine. The second half of this league has been very good for Darkstar Augur, by the way. Auto mulligan, this is not functional. Opponent mulligans as well. This hand is great. I will throw back one land. I get to throw out a Null Rod on turn 1, and then turn 3, turn 4, or maybe turn 3. We shall see. Second Sheoldred. Don't mind that. Urza's Saga from the opponent. This is not immediately good, but it is the difference between using and not using my mana immediately, so I'm fine with it. There is, in theory, an enchantment land going to the graveyard in the next turn cycle, so, you know. Attack with this doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna floop down a Sheoldred and pass the turn. Construct token, and we'll see what my opponent can make of the remainder of this turn. So these are 3/3s, soon to be 4/4s, but the activated abilities of the artifacts aren't doing anything. Grim Monolith, these are 5/5s. I think I am just trading a Sheoldred here, since I have another one coming. Do I trade this for this construct? That same option should just usually exist. Let's just play a Sheoldred. There's not that many cards in graveyard. This may end up outscaling the construct token. I think I have to worry about like some big dumb 7-drop coming down, like an Ugin or something. That is a Kozilek's Command to exile a creature and draw a card. So my opponent still loses 2 life for that trigger, and now this is a 5/6, so I get to attack in safely now, which is cool. Oh man, my opponent is not blocking. Dauthi, Voidwalker, Orcish Bowmasters. I will take Bowmasters because it's easier on my mana here. I'm going to hold this. I was going to say for blood tokens. Maybe that's not true. So I'll Dark Ritual, Dauthi, Voidwalker, and I'm just going to do this now because I have to for the black. Hit you to 8. We've got Tron. It's big. It is a Kozilek's Command, making chump blockers. It looks like opponent's going to funnel it into cards right now. Eldrazi Confluence. That card is absolutely crushing it for my opponent. Welp. Okay, I guess I have to tap an Ancient Tomb there. There's a 5/6. This is slightly awkward in that my opponent can block and then sacrifice these. Argentum Masticore. Alright, so sacrifice this unless you discard a card. When you discard a card this way, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the mana value of the discarded card. So if I attack, all I do is destroy an Eldrazi spawn token. This is awkward. I think I'm holding this back so that these can't attack. Sometimes my opponent has a card that they discard to this. Sometimes they don't. Trigger. Discarding Karn. So that gets rid of the Goyf. Obviously bad. Candle doesn't do much. I think we got to get lucky here. I think I chump and take the 5 and hope that Darkstar Augur doesn't literally or effectively kill me. Trigger. 2. Good. Believe. Opponent is at 6. So trigger. Opponent discards a land. Now I have 2 blockers for this turn. I'm not technically dead. However, some portion of the time, Darkstar Augur kills me. Ping. Block. And block. Oh, opponent had something else too. Hate that. Oh no. Yep. I wonder if it's even correct to remove that. Is it optional? I am dead to board, unfortunately. What is it? Eldrazi Confluence? Eldrazi Confluence beats my deck. We found what does it. My hand is a little awkward here. I think I am going to keep it. We're doing more of the things that we did last round. My Bowmaster will be fine. Hopefully I get a chance to deploy it and other cards before my opponent goes wild. I have a Sheoldred's Edict for if they drop a Karn immediately. There's a Saga, and opponent is passing the turn. Romox? Romox does not... can get me to 4 mana, but not black, black, black here. I think I'm just going to drop this and pass with these 2 spells available. Saga ticks up. Opponent is chilling. Then I will Bowmaster and target your face. This card is about to get better. Send in. Hit opponent for 2. I think I am going to value putting as much into play as I can here. It's a little awkward because Dauthi works against Goyf, but hopefully I can just put one of my own lands into the graveyard to get this going. I don't know, maybe this is just wrong, and I let the Saga go away before playing this. I just ignore Chromox. Lotus Petal. 3 mana. Monolith. Sure. Untaps. There's the One Ring. So I can't target my opponent with this right now, so I will just go ahead and target my own Orc. My Orc gets the +1/+1 counter, and so it does not die. Relic. Everybody on main deck graveyard hate at this point. This card has gotten worse. I'm going to play this so that I can sacrifice a land potentially next turn. Opponent loses 1. And this is not great. Like, I know I have the Bowmaster in play, but I don't really feel good about this situation. Opponent is going for mana, not cards here. There's a Glaring Fleshraker, which is very scary next turn if I don't top deck an answer to it. There's not an answer here, right? There is not. I mean, that's pretty darn good. If I sacrifice a land, it just makes my opponent tap Relic. So I won't be doing that. Opponent takes 7, and I'll floop down Sheoldred. My opponent takes 2 from the One Ring, 2 from Sheoldred, is at 3 life. There is Basalt Monolith, that is 3 mana. Not enough to cast a new One Ring for protection immediately. Another Grim Monolith can be, though. So that's up to 4 mana. It is a new Glaring Fleshraker. I'm at 13. There is a Voltaic Key. I am at 9. There's an untap of Grim Monolith. Wow. I am at 3. Wow, I think I am losing from close to 20 life off of just triple natural Glaring Fleshraker through Sheoldred and Bowmasters. Yeah. Cool. Alright, Null Rod's in, and Sheoldred's in, and then we can think about some amount of other additional removal. My opponent is playing main deck Graveyard Hate that is maybe going to stay in the deck since I showed that. I think these are going out first. That's getting me most of this stuff. The Broncos don't have any sort of evasion for all of the tokens that my opponent could have. Let's get Sheoldred's Edict in there. Let's get at least 1 more removal spell in there. What does that bring me up to? 4 Edicts, 1 Shoot the Sheriff. I should probably have a little more than that. Emperor of Bones is not fantastic. Let's do that. I don't really need to exile my opponent's graveyard. Keep 1 Caustic Bronco, or keep 1 Goyf. I'm going to keep 1 Bronco. I think I have mail. This is a hand that is a mana source away from being good. It's okay. I play turn 1 Dauthi to be aggressive into Bowmasters. It's fine. I think this is worse than a Null Rod hand, though. I'm going to fish a little bit. This is worse than the previous hand. We'll fish 1 more time. Now we probably just need to keep. So Swamp, Dark Ritual, Augur, Ancient Tomb, Exsanguinator Cavalry is a really good 5. I could think about keeping Urborg instead. That's largely fine. Yeah, I think that's largely fine. So Dark Ritual into Bat Bob. And then we'll pass the turn. We've got Tower. And passing the turn. Ooh, I hit Null Rod. Very nice. And Dark Ritual gives me exactly enough mana to Cavalry plus Null Rod. Seems good. 18. Land drop. Dark Ritual. Cavalry. 2 mana. Null Rod. So it's turn 2. I've got 4 power plus a hate card in play. Seems good. And this was a multi 5, by the way. This has shaped up very, very well between the draw step and the Bat Bob trigger. Land drop 2. No further plays. Bowmaster is fine. I'll send in for 4. My Null Rod does mean that I can't use the blood token. Third land with Urza in the name. That is not doing anything. Bowmaster. Target your face. 13. Bat Bob trigger. Another Bowmaster is great. Send it. After no blocks, I am fine throwing this down for the extra immediate point of damage that it represents. 12, followed by combat damage. Oop, nope, we're doing something else. This opponent's going to exile the token and make a spawn. That's fine. Opponent's at 6. Facing down a lot of power with card draw shut off, with one ring draw shut off, and the cavalry here has evasion as well. That is the concession. We'll be going to another game. Opponent's hand didn't do too much that time. Things feel about appropriate here. About the only other thing I could do is just play another removal spell or Glaring Fleshraker. But Strategic Betrayal is uniquely bad against that card if my opponent has already started doing some stuff with it. Damn, I am good at drawing Null Rod. Urza's Tower, pass turn. I will be a skillful magician and play my hate card. Now, my opponent does still have 4 mana. There's other things I can do that are perfectly fine and good, and that is one of them. I think I'm going to start looking for a removal spell for that, which means playing Bat Bob. I lose City of Traders in process, but this is pretty darn strong. That is a Boseiju played out as a land, rather than something that removes a Null Rod. That is Kozilek's Command, junking my creature, and dealing me a lot of damage in process. And this could be another one of those games where I just lose to fair Glaring Fleshrakers if my opponent has them in multiples. Mystic Forge, that is still very good even with Null Rod in play. My opponent can still just cast the stuff off the top and Glaring Fleshraker me out. Be a great time to draw a removal spell for that little fellow. Miss. So I'll do what I can. But this is quite bad. Oh, yikes. We're already up to Ugin. That's a disaster. I now probably need to draw running removal spells, one for Fleshraker, one for Ugin, and then, like, Mystic Forge will bury me over time separately. So Ugin's going for mana. There's Karn. I think at this point I can tap out. So that was a 2-3 finish, but this was a really good league. Alright, let's wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Pretty good. I liked this one a lot. This would be a deck that I would expect to pretty consistently be able to 3-2 finish in leagues. We had some wild variants today. Like, I think we lost one of our matches due to not getting a removal spell in the top 30 cards of the deck. You know, that sort of stuff is going to happen. But generally speaking, the large amount of card draw, in air quotes, in this deck between all of these various cards and a little bit of selection from stuff like this means that you can dig pretty deep and you can find answers to stuff. This was perhaps not the most representative league. Like, we played against, was that all one-ring decks? Or mostly one-ring decks? Which means that the Goyfs today were much worse than they would normally be in the, like, very blue-black metagame that we currently live in. Of the cards in the deck, I think everything was worth its weight except Caustic Bronco. I don't know that the card is objectively bad or anything, but I think I would just prefer 2 more Sheoldreds in the main, like 2 Sheoldreds, 2 more removal spells or something like that in the main, open up the sideboard a little bit for other stuff. We ran into a couple of choices today impacting us. So Shoot the Sheriff not being a different removal spell cost us 1 match. But, you know, on the other hand, if we do something like a Go for the Throat instead, then, you know, it misses in the Glaring Fleshraker matchup that we saw at the end. I like the Sheoldred's Edicts a lot. I think that's the removal spell that I want to start by maxing out. I don't really know that we get to play Fatal Push in this deck. We're not really fetch lands, and removal spells that miss Murktide Regent feel like a really, really big deal. This one gets my thumbs up. Take this one to your FNM. I think you would have a lot of fun playing this one. Plum Wizard, I think you did a good job with the base for this one. And I wish you further luck in your brewing as you continue to tinker with this. This was a lot of fun. As a side note here, this league very much did show how absolutely warping the One Ring can be on matches of Legacy. And the One Ring is not near the top of the list of bannable offenders in Legacy. Like, obviously, that's stuff from Oops All Spells and Reanimator right now. But I would not be surprised at some point in the future if the One Ring ends up being removed from the Legacy format. It is incredibly powerful, very warping, and I'll let you decide whether or not you like the play patterns associated with them. Like, I don't mind them too much. Like, you do get presented with some very interesting decisions, but damn, the card snowballs quickly. And it's not always the most fun to be on the other side of. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the One Ring as far as Legacy goes. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!